Today we're going to take a look at the Axial 1969 Chevy Blazer SCX10 2 ready to run. The 1969 Chevy Blazer Ready to Run is a pre-assembled kit that includes almost all the items that you will need, but you will have to add your own 4 AA batteries for the transmitter, as well as a 2 or 3 cell LiPo battery, or a NIM pack if you prefer, as well as a compatible battery charger. But other than that, this Ready to Run truck is pretty much ready to go. Now the 1969 Chevy Blazer just looks really cool. Axial's done a really nice job on this body. There's a lot of little scale details going around the body, like this full chrome grille up here with real light buckets. We have some Chevy branding going on. There's windshield wipers, more trim going around this full windshield. On the side we have chrome mirrors and chrome door handles, as well as this big tube top. And then another really cool feature on this body is this windshield piece is kind of its own separate piece that is attached by the wipers, and it also screws on the side. So you have this side Lexan window right here with more decal trims, and it just looks really cool windshield on this body. Now the front and the rear bumper are officially licensed. We have 2 LEDs in there. In the back one we have this cool little license plate decal back there, and then up top we have a driver figure that's all kind of molded in. There's a lot of decals as well as some in the dash as well, but then the body, or the head of the driver figure screws on from the inside with more decals on him to kind of emphasize that scale appearance. And then for our wheels, we also have these kind of matte finish internal 105 method wheels with these cool chrome beadlocks. Now these aren't functioning beadlocks, these tires are glued to the wheel, but they look pretty dang good going along with this body and this nice trim going along the side. Now taking a look inside, we can see a lot of our detail pieces are fastened in here with an O-ring and then a set screw, and then our wiper 2 screws back here. That's what's holding on that front windshield, as well as the side screws. Taking a look at the chassis layout, this thing is an SCX10 2, so it may look very familiar to you. Our wheelbase is the 12-inch wheelbase. It's about 305 millimeters-ish. For electronics, we have the brushed 35-turn Axial motor. We have a waterproof receiver box with the transmitter. It is the TTX300. It's a 3-channel Tactic transmitter. Our ESC right here, this is the AE5L. Now, this is very similar to the older AE5, but the L means it now has 2 outputs for LEDs. Now it's very particular though what LED strings you use with the outputs on this ESC, because you can burn out the ESC. So the 2 lights that are on the truck, of course, are compatible, and then there's also an additional, or I should say optional, 4-string LED that you can buy that includes 2 white and 2 red lights, and you can plug that right in. Like I said, there are dual LED outputs, but it is very particular on what LEDs you use with the AE5L. If you're curious what that other optional LED string is that is compatible with this ESC, we'll put a link down below so you can check that out. Moving up to the servo, this is the Tactic TSX45. It works off of 6 volts and it is not waterproof, so that's something to keep in mind. Your ESC and your motor can run in water. Your ESC is waterproof, although you might want to seal up that LED wire connection. That could be questionable, but it is advertised per Axial as being waterproof, and then of course our receiver box is waterproof as well. Now some more standard features on this truck are going to be the 4-link rear end link suspension. Those are steel links, and in the front end we're going to use a 3-link setup with a pan-hard bar and our chassis mounted servos, but all of these links are steel with 4mm plastic rod ends. Looking at the transmission, this is the updated AX10 transmission. Now, if you're familiar with the SCX10 2 Ready to Run Cherokee, that included the original SCX10 3-gear transmission. That works very well. Now this transmission is just slightly updated from that. It still uses a 3-gear setup, and in this Blazer version, they're all metal gears. Now the final drive ratio of this updated transmission has been updated as well. The final drive ratio is now 42, an update over, I believe it was 33 on the older SCX10, so that's quite a difference in the final drive ratio to just kind of help smoothen things out and to provide less torque twist. Another really cool thing on this Blazer edition are the axles. Now the AR44 axles we first saw on that Cherokee model, but these have been updated. These are maybe a V2 axle if you want to call them that. Axial refers to them as the AR44 one-piece axle. So the axles now are completely one piece on the rear. The lockouts are now molded on, as well as the shock mounting positions on the other side of the axle. You might not be able to see that, but they're now molded onto the axle as well. Moving on to the front axle, our steering carriers are now molded onto this one-piece axle housing, as well again as our lower shock mount pieces. And then Axial is actually molded in this upper truss you can see here that's going all the way across the axle. That's present on the front and rear. Now internally, those are a metal gear. It's a spiral cut metal gear as well as a metal locker in the axles, which really provides almost all metal drivetrain in this vehicle except for our plastic center drive lines. One last thing to note, on the front axle, internally it uses CVDs, so we have a 45-degree steering angle on this truck, which is a lot of throw left and right. Lastly, a really cool update they've done to the back of the body here is they've updated this body mounting system. So our shock hoops are right here. This updated mounting system goes in to the old mounts in the shock hoops, but now attaches to the back of the chassis rails and has these mounting points which are much wider than original. So it's a bit hard to tell there, but our mounting points are spread out further, which helps us mount the body. So the mounting holes are they're not only further back down the body, but they're actually spread out closer to the outside of the body. A really nice body mount system, especially for guys if looking to mount other bodies up on their chassis. This may come in handy for other builds. Before we box up this Chevy Blazer, we're gonna throw inside the box one of these brand new AMain trail kegs. This is a cool parts container / tool holder that inside contains some tools as well as a little mat so you can trail side, work on your rig, and take care of any repairs that you may need. So if you get this kit with a trail keg inside, please let us know. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, or we missed something, please leave us a comment down below. And if you want more info on the 1969 Chevy Blazer, go check out the links down below as well. My name is Brett with AMain Hobbies. Thanks for watching.